Hey everybody, welcome back to City Sewers. So due to a slight issue with my camera, I'm actually filming today's vlog on my cell phone. Replacement part for the camera will be coming today, so I'll have it for future use, but I had something that needed to be filmed like now, so it's going to be on my camera. It's just how it is. Or on my phone camera. But something happened yesterday. Not sure how it happened. All we know is that it happened. So yesterday was a really windy day. It was something like 20-mile-an-hour winds with gusts up to 45 miles an hour. And I'm not sure if it was the wind or human error that caused an issue, but somehow the garden gate was opened and left open. So the goats got in. And they've wreaked some havoc. Alright, so when you first come in the gate, there was a big cilantro plant right here. I mean, I was getting ready to rip it out, but they've eaten it down to nothing. I had new green onions put in here. Those might be salvageable. I had peppers over here hardening. They've eaten off. I mean, that one might still survive. It could branch out. But they completely ate off two of the violet sparkles and a Hinkle Hots. I think that's all they really damaged in the tray here. It's not too bad. Oh, wait. And they ate the very top off of a yellow monster. This tomato seems to be okay. It's surrounded by some remains from the lettuce that I actually tied up yesterday. This is the Drunken Woman frizzy head lettuce that I was allowing to go to seed. Well, we'll get less seeds at this point. Ugh. Here's a Cosmo that they didn't eat, but they broke it. Let's see. Is this planted at all still? Not really. Oh, that might still be salvageable. I'll have to be... That's still alive! Woo! This is the orange peach tomato. There we go, just kind of let that be like that and it'll come back. But the gold medal tomato is entirely gone. Let's see, the orange icicle tomato looks okay. But in the opposite bed over here, they nipped the top off of this one. I have to look up. I can't remember what one this one is. Oh, this was the Thorburns Lemon Blush, I think. Hey, they ate my sunflower. Poops. They completely ate the Napa Chardonnay. This one's still here. This one's Nature's Riddle, I think. I mean, the two on the ends, I can't keep track of which one was which now. Ah! Bunch of hoof prints all in here. And it's all just trampled. They ate the borage. Not too worried about that. Oh, my onions. Man. I think they ate all the roses that they could reach. Not super worried about that. They did not eat my eggplants. Let's see. They ate some of the marigold here. Footprints. They didn't eat the squash plants. Let me come around to the pepper bed here. This pepper was unearthed, so I stuck it back in the ground in the dark last night. So I think it'll pull through. But 2 Corbaci peppers are gone. It looks to be the extent of the damage in here, really. I had a Cosmo planted here, that's gone. Ugh. Oh, and see, here's the other Cosmo. They munched that. Goodness. I have no idea how long they had access for, but clearly it was long enough to do some damage. And, yeah. I guess the plus side here is that I didn't have anything poisonous in the garden this year. Last year, I grew Timbalo melon pears, and Betsy got a hold of just a few leaves of that, and it nearly killed her. So we are fortunate that we're not growing anything toxic this year. I mean, to my knowledge, nothing that they ate is going to hurt them. They're all fine this morning. I have no idea how long they had access to my garden, and it was heartbreaking. I came out last night to put the baby away. Teddy and Betsy spend the night in the pen, just while he's so little, and found the gate wide open. It was not a great moment. So it's damaged, but you know what? I have a long enough growing season that I can restart the tomatoes that I've lost. I can restart the peppers that I've lost. They'll be a little behind everything else, but the season is long enough that I can pull it together. But it sucks. But yeah, I don't know if the kids maybe opened it. I mean, they deny having been even in the garden. I know that I was in the garden earlier in the day, but I know that I shut the gate behind me. But it may just not have latched all the way, or I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know how they got in, but they did, and they wreaked a little havoc. Some of the things we'll have to wait and see, like the broken Cosmo plants and things like that. We'll just have to wait and see if they come back. The one tomato that has the one single little branch left, last year I had a tomato that got nipped by a goat that had a very similar situation, and it came back and did fine. So I'm probably going to just keep an eye on that one. But yeah, I've got to replace, what is it, 1, 2... 2? Is it only 2? So at this point, I only have to replace 2 tomatoes. So I guess that's good. And 2 peppers actually need to be replaced. The peppers that they munched that are in the pots that they like completely ate, like the violet sparkles, those happen to be extras. So it's like, okay, so I lost a couple extra. Oh well. Yeah. Good times, guys. I wonder why they ate the sunflower that was volunteering in the bed, but left these ones. Jane, what's up? If you want it, we want to eat it. If you don't care if it lives or dies, we'll leave it alone. Thanks. That's one way to do it. It's like cheating. Putting milk up on stilts there for you. That's funny. Oh, wow, I didn't mean to do that. Other areas of the garden are doing totally fine. And by the garden, I mean other gardening areas that are not the main garden. The kids' garden needs some work. It's time to get it all planted out. It's actually time to remove the fall plants. We've started work on some of the kids' garden, but I haven't really committed to it yet because I've been not super motivated because their garden is a lot more shaded, and the plants that we're putting in there, we're not ready to go out anyway. So now the plants really need to get out. So I have got to get my rear end in gear and get it done. Now you can see Caleb's garden here. I started, it's about half amended. We had a cucumber here that perished in the too cold temperatures. So we'll start again here soon. The night temperatures are warming up enough to do that. These chards are going to need to come out because it's just time. And Caleb is planning on putting some stuff in here that is not chard, I think. Actually, you know what? I'll double check. If we can keep them, I will. But they do need to be harvested. This bed here by the fence is going to be their watermelons. I got personal sized watermelons that I'm going to let just climb on this fence. But they have also, or two of the three have gone the way of the dodo, but there's one that's still doing okay. And then these are actually leftover elephant garlic. That the cloves themselves are really small, so the plants are kind of small for elephant garlic, but Audrey really wanted to plant them, so we did. And I didn't expect anything to happen because they were so like small and shrivelly, but they put plants up, so we'll see. Let's see. And then this here is Audrey's bed. That calendula is a volunteer, and I think it might be kind of a front yard crossbreed because she planted a strawberry blonde calendula here last year. That is not strawberry blonde. We did have some Pacific Beauty calendula mix out front here, right in front of their garden. And you can see there's a few volunteer sprouts coming up in the walkways, and I think that that may just be a crossbreed because it's not quite the same as what the Pacific Beauty was, and it's not quite the same as the Strawberry Blonde, so we may have created something new. Well, I don't know, call it a Pacific Blonde. I don't know. Nathan's bed here is kind of in transition. This lettuce needs to come out. I harvested it. It's actually the Drunken Woman frizzy head lettuce. It was amazing, like super sweet, not bitter. Loved it. This kale was starting to bolt, so I have heavily harvested it and just haven't pulled out the plant yet. And even the Ragged Jack kale back there, it looks like it's starting to bolt. You can see in the very middle of the plant that it is, yeah, it's starting to bolt. You can see it right there. But yeah, so the rest of these lettuces I'm going to get harvested so that we can get them eaten and we can amend this bed and get it ready, because Nathan is wanting to grow yellow monster peppers, and I think that he wants to grow more kale, so I don't know, we might try and grow some more, but I'm not sure. Our temperatures are so warm, it's probably gonna bolt. Hey everybody, it's actually a few days later, but I got my camera fixed and I kind of wanted to close this out. So the garden has had a bit of a hit. However, hope is not lost. Check this out. So this pepper plant that I thought was, you know, cut off and hopeless, you can see it's got new growth in all these little joints. So it may actually recover. So I'm gonna just leave it alone, keep watering it, and see what happens. But a lot of the peppers that were nipped off actually are starting to show that little bit of new growth appearing in those little joints, the armpits, whatever you want to call them. Tomatoes, there were two that I was saying were completely destroyed. They would have to be replaced. One is, unfortunately, yes, that's done, that's gone, because they actually uprooted the whole thing and pulled it out. And I thought they had also done that with the second one, but I was out here assessing the spot to, you know, figure out what I'm doing to replace it, and I found this. So I was digging in here and I found this little stub of the tomato plant that's left with that little tiny brand new bit of growth. So this tomato plant entirely has a shot at coming back. I thought that this hole here was like where the plant used to be and that they had pulled it out, but it looks like it's actually just a footprint, a hoof print from the goats. so they didn't pull it out. They did eat it down to almost nothing, but it is determined and it's going to come back. Same thing with this other tomato that was eaten almost all the way down. Brand new little growth poking up out of there. So there's a real testament to how resilient some of these plants can be. They've been decimated. Like the whole plant has been like bitten back, chewed back, destroyed, eaten. And it says, I've got one tiny little node. I'm gonna grow from that. Like, that's incredible. So the peppers, I mean, I will still have to replace my 2 Corbaci peppers because those were flat out. They were all the way pulled out and all the way eaten, so there's nothing left. And there's like 1 or 2 of the other pepper plants that are like still in the trays that they ate too low. There's no growth nodes above the chew spot. So, or below the chew spot. I guess above the chew spot would be gone. But yeah, it's not quite as bad as I thought it was. This spot over here was also really trampled. I've come in and smoothed it, but there's a cucumber that's starting to come up. It says, hey, all's not lost. I'm gonna come up. That's a China jade cucumber, I think, based on the location, but that's just funny. All this death and destruction in that little tiny plant is like, I'm gonna live. So I definitely have my work cut out for me on getting this garden kind of repaired. I never did actually finish getting it mulched out here, so I need to kind of spray down the tops of the beds and mulch them so they can hold some moisture. And I still have a ton of plants in the trays that need to be planted out. It's kind of a combination of low energy levels as well as time. Like, when I have the time, I've got no energy, which is kind of just a thing. Like, it's kind of a known issue is that when you're recovering from COVID and even long after you're recovered, you struggle with fatigue, and I have been struggling with that. And then also, it's, you know, when I've got the energy to do it, oh, no, I have to go do something else. I don't have the time. So I'm pushing myself today to try and get at least some of it done before we have yet more plans this afternoon. So we're gonna try and chip away at it and make some progress. But as always, this is your urban nerd with a goat herd telling you you can grow where you're planted.